Welcome to Advocation X, episode number 64. Time for a newsworthy illness broadcast. Sponsored by Baden Optical in beautiful Ontario, Canada. Now hit the like button, please, and subscribe to push this content higher in the YouTube algorithms so more people get to see our content. Topics that we're going to tackle here and now: freedom and liberty, guns, choice, masks, shopping, isolation, your safety, and false guilt. Let's dive deep right now. Compromise and judgment have no place in freedom and liberty. Each of us is a free agent and must be free to choose our destinies based on our best judgments. This freedom that is liberty, we do not have the right or freedom to choose other people's fate, period. None of us would ever dream of walking into our neighbor's home and saying, "You must administer this medication to your children and yourself because we believe it's the right thing to do." And you would never accept your neighbor walking into your home and telling you how to take or administer medications to your children or any other staple or anything else. We would just not stand for it. However, if my neighbor was to come over and give me suggestions based on their best knowledge and research, I would consider their submissions honestly and do my research before making any decisions. Excuse me. So moving on. Guns have long since been the topic when discussing freedoms, rights, and liberty. So what does that entail? Do you have the right to own a gun? If your constitution or other laws say yes, then it is yes. Do you know the value of owning your gun? If you were reduced to hunting for your food, you should not be restricted. If you were beset by life-threatening circumstance, you should be able to proceed without restriction. Some of the decisions in some courts have said that if you use your gun in the commission of self-defense against a burglar in your own home, you may still be responsible in a court of law and civil court for using that means of protection. Now, I'm sorry, I don't understand that part at all. They'd have to give me a breakdown on where the brain power came for that one. So, was that a law and enacted on a majority of people's consent? Or was it just an arbitrary pronouncement that everybody has to follow? So, let's speak about choice, which is a very delicate thing indeed. Would you like to give up your choices for my edicts? Would you like me to make all of your rules for you? Okay, wait a second. That might not be fair because I really do my research and I'd like to think that most of my judgments are fairly sound. So we're just going to substitute me as an arbitrary factor. Okay, thank you for the text. So, would you allow me to dictate what you earn? Would you allow me to dictate how you raise your children, how you feed yourself, or how you conduct yourself at home or in the workplace? Would you allow me to dictate all of these things? Spend some time truly contemplating these questions, and then just understand that you still have some elements of choice on how to live your life, and be grateful enough to protect that liberty, that freedom of choice. Don't give it up arbitrarily. Don't just give it up because somebody says you should. Fight for your few remaining rights and freedoms, not just for you, but for your neighbors and for everybody around you. If you give up your few remaining rights and freedoms, I'm just going to warn you now, you will regret it. You absolutely will regret it. Give up all your guns. You will regret it. I posted a video earlier, which, actually, I'm sorry. I posted a video on my Facebook earlier, which depicts the history of countries that gave up their guns and what occurred almost directly after. Watch that video. So, let me move on. Masks can be a valuable resource when used correctly. If you wear your mask for hours and hours on end, it's not very friendly to the components of your lungs that are necessary to keep you alive. Every chance you get to remove your mask and breathe freely is one step closer to staying healthy. In my opinion, wearing my mask while in the presence of other people, not of my circle, to me, that's prudent. To wear my mask while using public transit of any kind, while people are close by or recently vacated, would, in my opinion, be quite prudent. We know that the lungs are taxed heavily when trying to extract oxygen through a mask of any kind. So again, my suggestion, in my opinion, is to, first of all, construct your mask out of some of the thinnest material you can find. Not so thin that the protection is non-existent, but please do not overdo it. When they suggested that you not wear N95 masks, there was good reason for that. The reason for medical staff having to wear them more often can be directly connected to the amount of possible exposure they would have all day while doing their jobs. It becomes a risk-reward scenario. If you are breathing through a mask of cardboard, your lungs will probably work 1,000 times harder than they ever did before in order to try to get oxygen through a cardboard mask. Just understand the correlation. A risk-reward proposition, okay? Let's move on. Shopping, one of the most prevalent times when people are donning masks. So let me once again offer up my opinion based on gathered facts. Leaving your home and getting into your car does not require a mask. Driving to the grocery store does not require your mask. Once you are exiting your vehicle to join other people, this would be a good time to put on your mask and keep it on until you re-enter your car. Now, based on the next time that you may have to use your mask, I recommend taking it home and spraying it with 35% food-grade hydrogen peroxide diluted to a 3 or 4% mixture with distilled water. This will leave no residue or harmful chemicals for you to be breathing in while you are trying to protect yourself. After the mixture has been sprayed and has done its duty, it is reduced to water only and will evaporate and leave your mask clean of any bacteria of any kind based on a 99.999% effectiveness. Apply this to any activities you're engaged in and it should suffice. Let me add here, the wearing of protective gloves. They are used to help with patient-to-patient activity. So you're not spreading one patient's disease to the next one. If you wear your gloves all over the city, you will be transporting germs from one place to the next. It is not a substitute for washing your hands and not touching your face and doing the things that are prudent that normally occur when you're trying to be healthy, when flu season is hit. Just use common sense. And I don't use that term lightly. We all have an element of common sense. Use either your higher common sense or somebody else's common sense to help you to understand what is right and wrong in those circumstances. So another topic, isolation of oneself for long periods of time in sterile environments. will reduce your immune system and make it more susceptible to any contaminants outside of your environment. This seems to be the conventional wisdom of those who have worked with infectious diseases for 20, 30, and 40 years respectively. Get out into the sun. Get out and breathe some fresh air. Protect those around you by wearing a mask when they get too close. But for gosh sakes, stop self-isolating unless you are massively at risk because of factors that could compromise your immune system before you get affected by any other bugs or the super bad cold illness. If you're jogging or riding a bicycle or riding a motorcycle or scooter of any kind, realize that you are entering many different environments fairly quickly. If you were running by person X and person X had just sneezed seconds before you entered that environment, you would be contracting whatever has been spewed by them by your eyes, ears, nose, and mouth. So a light mask, which allows you to breathe fairly freely, could be your best friend in a case that person is not wearing a mask themselves. I'm just saying, guys, it's all about your safety. Speaking of your safety, which comes first in any scenario, I don't care if it's from anything as simple as playing on swings or driving a car or what type of airplane you board or what type of food you eat or medicines you take, you are in charge of yours and your family's safety. And that should be your number one concern. But only my number two concern. Don't put your security on me. But I will, as a respectful human being, try my best to respect your security. But you can't put that on me. It's up to you to protect you and your family, okay? So, my number two concern, your number one. So, regardless of our opinion here on this channel, first and foremost, I defend your right to choose your fate. I also implore you, on both sides of this debate, do not allow anyone to make you feel guilty for your choices. It is all too often that people are shamed into making choices that go against their better judgment, no matter what side is guilting the other. There are many on either side who regret being forced into any choice. Support each other's choices and be sure to keep each other's safety in mind at all times. Offer your suggestions, but do not demand or throw your opinion at people like they must accept your version of the reality. That's what has doctors and nurses sometimes sleeping in their garages or avoiding their houses totally. Like, can we go and judge either of those decisions? I don't dare, since the choice rests on those who know their world best. Some choose to go home and spend time with their families. None of us have the right to judge them for their decisions. They're working hard to protect us and help us all. And if they go home and spend time with their children and their wife or spouse, or they go home and they sleep in the garage, or they go to a hotel in order to protect their home, that's their choice. Stop projecting on other people. Allow other people to choose their fate. We cannot allow anyone to take our choice. So, that being said, none of us have the right to judge others for their decisions. I, for one, shall support you no matter what you decide, and will pray for you that you are safe from the ravages of any decision that you make. But it's not my decision to make for you. So, with all that being said, please help further our cause by hitting the like button and subscribing for future content. Become a member and crush that bell while you're at it so you miss nothing going forward. Disclaimer, our channel is factually informed opinion and not alternative fact type either. Questions will be answered if you're a subscribed member of this channel. However, your suggestions are more than welcomed, including your critical analysis. Feel free. Really. I will take a lot of your suggestions to heart. This is where I get my information, is from other people. I was not born with all the information I'm spewing. I'm collecting it from those that I feel have good judgment. Okay? Leave your respectful comments, suggestions, critical analysis, and questions for future topics you'd like to have covered in the comments section. But remember, be respectful. So a special thanks from Clyde and the crew to all of you beautiful thinking people out there. A shout out to our sponsors, Baden Optical in beautiful Ontario, Canada. Once again, good folks, I must say, we will never give up, and we will never give in. And remember, keep an open mind. Keep it open. Because knowledge is your power. So do your research and maintain your power. Until next time, thank you for spending time with us here on this channel. Please stay safe and healthy while doing your very best to remain as happy as humanly possible. Now go hit that like button. Subscribe. Get all new content.